You guys, the LA Kings beat a divisional rival. I know. I was just as stunned as you were. I'm kind of kidding. We played the Edmonton Oilers, who played last night and beat Tampa Bay just sickeningly. I mean, Connor McDavid had a 5-point night. He had 4 goals and 1 assist. So we were kind of hoping maybe that he was tired out at the end of that. That was untrue. When I tell you that the score ended up being 5-2, it's going to make it sound like the Kings were completely dominant the entire time. That is false. But for the first period, it sure looked like all LA Kings all the time. Oh, they were doing everything right. Their puck management made me just want to cry happy tears. They were getting controlled zone entries. They were moving the puck around and confusing the Oilers' defense. They had a goal within the first minutes and something-ish seconds. But still, the first 2 minutes of the game, the LA Kings were up. When's the last time that happened, guys? When's the last time the Kings got an early goal and didn't give up an early goal? It was amazing. So we started out really well. Really, really well. This first period was stunning. There were so many other chances the Kings had that they weren't burying, which concerned me a little bit. But, you know, give Cam Talbot his due. He's quite a good goalie, and the LA Kings were just kind of doing everything they could to confuse and tire out Edmonton, and they looked like a team that had played the night before and then traveled. So, you know, to that effect, they capitalized very well on the first period. They did a lot of things right. They didn't seem to make any mistakes. They had a couple of power plays, actually. Just everything was going the LA Kings way, and it was the exact kind of game where you're thinking, that's my team. That's the Kings that I want to see out on the ice. They had chemistry. They had control. They had a goaltender who was sitting on like 160 minutes of a shutout. And that continued for about 20 more minutes. First period was great. Second period was the opposite of that. We had 1 shot on goal in the first 10-ish, 15 minutes. I mean, it was a goal, so that's awesome. And we were up 2-0. So that's encouraging. Damn, Kempe is fast, guys. The pass came from Drew Doughty. He controlled it over the blue line, and Kempe was just kind of waiting to snipe that in there. And beautiful, beautiful stuff from our Swede and our nice young players. But then it was all downhill from there. We had like 1 minute, 10 seconds of really good play, and then nothing after that. It was horrendous. It was like a completely separate team came out. The Oilers were all over them. The Oilers completely controlled the neutral zone. They controlled basically the entire period. The Kings had 3 penalties in the space of about 5 minutes. Is that even possible? Because penalties take 2 minutes. Oh, wait, yes, it is, because they scored on one of them. So there goes Kemper's shutout. Now, the first one was an assist from Connor McDavid, from a couple other people that have been buzzing quite well for the Oilers today. So, yeah, we didn't slow Connor McDavid down at all. The second goal came from Connor McDavid, unsurprisingly. Same kind of shot, actually, that he took last night that I'm just sitting there thinking, oh my God, how does that even happen? How does he do that? That's stunning. It's a little less stunning when it happens against your team, and it's the tying goal, and it comes from Camilleri, who we had for like 15 seconds, and then gave to Edmonton. Yeah, I felt like that goal was coming. We were kind of due that goal. So it happens. We're lucky to only be down 2-0 by the end of the second period. It was a period of penalties. It was a period of sloppy play. I would like to forget it ever happened. So let's move on to the third period, which was much more even. If the first period was all Kings and the second period was all Edmonton, the third period was really going to determine where it was going to go, and it wasn't really shifting either way. The Kings had more chances, unsurprisingly, but Edmonton had the better chances. That sounds like every LA Kings game you've ever watched, right? Yeah, that's par for the course. At one point, though, Drew Doughty's out there without a stick, and he looks even more fierce without a stick than half the defensemen in the league look with one. That is a guy I want to keep on my team forever. He just has so much gut and grit and heart and talent to be able to do what he does, and I'm floored and blessed every game that I get to watch him play. Kemper did a pretty good job, too, down his end. Like I said, there were the more spectacular wow shots getting at him, and he managed to stop them all. This particular one probably helped from the post, but still, either way, no idea how the puck does not go in the net there. Grateful. Unlike the many, many attempts at the LA Kings net room, like, seriously, how does that not go in? Iafallo had several, Toffoli had some, Lewis had some. I'm just sitting there like, Lewis had 2 assists tonight, which was very impressive. He had a great game. I love me some Trevor Lewis, and he had a lot of chances. Didn't manage to bury any himself, but still, fantastic player out there tonight. Who else did I want to say did really good things? Doesn't matter. Most of the team played really, really well. So, third period is coming to a close. The Kings thankfully haven't taken too many stupid penalties in the third. In fact, I don't believe any. Finally, this happens. The Kings managed to break through, and a fantastic shot is set up here. But you know that they're going to call for goalie interference. You can just tell by how close our player is to the goalie that they're going to ask. And they did. There was a coach's challenge. I still will never understand how they end up calling them. I don't think anyone really knows what goalie interference is, but apparently this was not it, so yay! I tend to think it probably was erring on the side of not, and since it was called a good goal on the ice, I don't think there was enough to overturn. But had they waved it off on the ice, I wouldn't really have complained. So, either way, it counts for the Kings. It's 3-2, and this is a power play goal, and so the kid Levi that sits next to me, I adore him. He plays hockey himself in the junior leagues. He looks at me and he says, I want us to get a goal within the next 42 seconds, because that's how long there was left on the power play, and bam! So you're welcome. It's all us. We can thank Levi for this one. So there's not a whole lot of time there. So it's like 4-ish minutes, and Edmonton has been a pretty good opponent for this period. It's really been very even as far as, you know, comparison and all of that stuff goes. And then they pull their goalie. There's maybe 2 minutes left, and it's crunch time. But it doesn't matter, because the Kings get the empty net goal, their first empty net goal, within seconds of Talbot being out of the net. So it's 4-2 now. And that one came from Iafallo, which you can see why the Kings leadership liked seeing his shot in the preseason. It's fantastic. Again, empty net, so like not super hard, but like he picks the angle really well, and 4-2 is looking a lot more convincing, and they pull their goalie again, and Kopitar gets it 5-2, and that's the final score, which Andy Lassner had during the intermission on Fox Sports predicted. It's the second time he's done that in the last like 2 months or so. I'm slightly scared of his psychic powers now. So when we say 5-2, it does sound like they just absolutely steamrolled the Oilers. That's not true. There's still some work to be done. That entire second period needs to be relooked by the Kings and completely forgotten by all of their fans. As they go on a 7-game road trip. It's going to be a long one, possibly demanding. There are very few games at home in February. But Kemper was writing 2-ish now games of a shutout. I don't expect him to start again. I expect that Quick will get the start. But those games were very encouraging. This is now 2 games in a row where we have defeated our divisional rival. And again, I know it's Arizona and it's Edmonton, hasn't been great this season, but still, divisional wins are very important, especially right now. Let's not look at the playoff picture until after they come back from the break, though. Let's just end on this happy note of an LA Kings win.